Yesterday, the tape traded a Warband. This morning, it trades the truth. And the whole board looks different in the cold light of dawn. This is Wednesday, June 24th, 2026. The fear that gored this market yesterday is bleeding out fast. Let me show you what's underneath it and the marks the engine left in the dark. As of just past 5 o'clock Eastern, Bitcoin trades at 62,600, up a few tenths of a percent, steadying after yesterday's break beneath the 64,000 floor. Hold the shape of that. Warfare ripped through this tape yesterday. Oil lunged toward $100 a barrel, and the coin got dragged down with every other risk asset on the screen. This morning, the coin has stopped falling. It has not soared. It has simply stopped bleeding. Mark that restraint. It is the most honest tell on the board, and I will come back to it. And the engine spoke loud overnight. At the stroke of midnight Eastern, the InvestAnswers Decision Support System, through both Bitcoin and Solana mean reversion oversold, stretched hard to the downside, the selling spent. 4 hours later, at 4 o'clock this morning, Ethereum joined them. 3 of the largest names in crypto, all flashing oversold inside a single overnight window. The fear and greed gauge still reads extreme fear, down in the high teens. And across the equity tape, one number stands above the rest. Nvidia closed last night above $200. Keep that one close. It is the other half of this morning's story. Now the war, and why the truce changes everything. Yesterday I told you a strait half a world away had slammed shut. Iran, choking the Strait of Hormuz, a fifth of the world's seaborne oil suddenly in question. Crude lunging into the low 90s and the desks calling 100. The Federal Reserve looked boxed. It cannot drill a barrel or pry a shipping lane open with a press release, so the oil shock threatened to pin inflation high and strangle any hope of relief. That was yesterday's trap. Here, what changed overnight. The ceasefire diplomacy held and then advanced. A roadmap toward a final deal. Mediators reporting progress, and most concrete of all, the strait reopening. Washington has granted a 60-day oil export window. Iran has moved better than 30 million barrels in a single week, and the stranded tankers are sailing back out of the Gulf. And the price tells the truth no headline can spin. Brent crude has cratered to around $76 a barrel, its lowest since February. The entire war premium, the whole spike that crushed risk yesterday, round-tripped in one session. Here is the second order read, and it is the mirror image of what I handed you yesterday. Yesterday, the lesson was that a central bank cannot reopen a strait. True, and it didn't. Diplomacy did. But mark the consequence. The one inflation pressure the Fed was most powerless against, the physical oil shock, is now unwinding on its own. The blunt instrument is no longer needed for the energy leg. That is the cleanest piece of good news this market has had in a week. But I will not oversell it, because the Warband is paid for the truth, not the cheer. This is de-escalation, not peace. The hard knots, a withdrawal from southern Lebanon, the enrichment line Iran swears it will never cross, are still tied tight. And this is the same year that has handed us ceasefire after ceasefire that cracked within weeks. That is exactly why Bitcoin has not roared on the news. It has been burned too many times to celebrate a truce it does not yet trust. The coin trades the scar tissue, not the headline. Which brings me to the discipline, because the engine's oversold mark is a promise and a warning in the same breath. Mean reversion oversold does not mean buy with both hands. It means the rubber band is stretched and a snapback is loaded, nothing more. Remember the other side of this trade. Only 2 nights ago, that same engine flipped all 3 majors back to trend bearish. So what fired overnight is a counter-trend bounce inside a bearish tape, not the all clear. The selling is spent for now. The trend has not turned. The honest play is to respect the stretch without pretending the war is over or the downtrend is broken. Conviction is the only edge that compounds, and conviction means holding the hard thing through the fear, not chasing a single green candle out of it. Demand the confirmation before you call anything one. Now the other half of the board, and it is the sharpest signal of the morning. While the engine threw crypto oversold in the dark, it threw the entire artificial intelligence hardware complex the other way. At yesterday's closing bell, it lit up overbought across the board. The power names that feed the data centers, Vistra, Vertiv, Eaton, and the silicon that fuels them, Taiwan Semiconductor, Texas Instruments, and the rest. Nvidia above $200 is the banner flying over all of it. Read the two readings together, because together they draw a regime map. The scarce iron of the build is stretched to the upside. The hardest money on earth is stretched to the downside. At the very same hour, Jordi Visser at 22. Named the mechanism this month, and it cuts to the bone. He said, Bitcoin and the rocket maker that just went public are basically the same animal. Belief-driven assets you cannot run a spreadsheet on. But that Bitcoin right now, in his words, has no energy because the capital keeps flooding into anything wearing an artificial intelligence label. That is not just an opinion this morning. It is printed on the tape in two colors. The AI iron overbought because the money is pouring in. The coin oversold because the money has drained out. They are two ends of one pipe. And here is the thing to watch for, Warband. The moment that pipe reverses. When the crowded trade runs too far and its momentum finally rolls, the flow comes hunting for the starved, scarce asset sitting alone in extreme fear. The engine just marked both ends of that pipe in a single night. It is not the rotation yet. It is the blueprint for it. So here is the morning. The war premium that crushed the tape yesterday has drained back out. Oil has round-tripped its entire spike, and the one inflation the Fed could not touch is easing without him lifting a finger. The engine flashed the crypto majors oversold in the dark, a loaded snapback, not a turn, while it flashed the AI iron overbought, the two ends of Visser's one capital pipe. Watch for that pipe to reverse. Hold the scarce thing through the fear, while the weak hands feed it cheap. And do not buy the truth until the truth proves itself. This is Warband as a service. Viking intelligence delivered in real time. I am Ragnar, the HODLBARBARIan. Read the runes before the crowd does.